of June 2025. Welcome to Joy Newsroom. Coming up in this bulletin, the 7 Laura students dead after boat capsizes on Black Volta. We have the latest as we know that the Regional Security Council and the Regional Minister are getting briefing from the headmaster of Laura School. Also, President Mahama directs Energy and Finance Ministers to protect gains made in reduction of petroleum product prices as global prices surge due to Israel-Iran hostilities.
I've asked our Minister of Finance and Minister of Energy to keep a close eye on the development and model the possible impacts on our petroleum prices.
I'm Sweetie Abochi. Please stay with me for details coming up shortly. In our very first story, 7 students from Laura Senior High School drowned after their boat capsized on the Black Volta River at Dikpe while attempting to cross into Burkina Faso. The tragic incident occurred during what was supposed to be a routine morning jogging session. According to reports, 10 students had gone for their morning exercise, but unexpectedly decided to travel to the Burkina Faso. Here's the Upper West Regional Minister in Laura, together with the Regional Security Council, receiving briefing from Headmaster of Laura Senior High School, Primus Barrow.
They go for this morning jogging, fatigue. It's not a specific route. They have different kinds of routes, even though occasionally, they go to that particular. So yesterday, they happened to find themselves there. And like director has rightly put it, that's how the incident occurred. Actually, the number is 16. There were 16 who went there. 10 boarded the boat, to explore. Obviously, they wanted, according to my cadet organizer and the patron, they wanted to also explore. And in the course of the event, in fact, before they set off, according to their leader, before they set off, the water started entering the boat. Actually, they have overloaded the boat. I understand those boats, they take about 6 people at a go. But 10 of them boarded, including the one who was paddling the canoe, making 11. So even from the set-off, the water was... So the cadet, the leader at that time, indicated that they should stop the journey. But the one who was paddling the canoe carried on. I think by the time they got midstream, that was the time the situation overcame them. So in an attempt to turn back, the water entered and the boat capsized. And like we said, they were able to rescue 3 of them. Unfortunately, they couldn't find the remaining until around 12 o'clock that they were able to retrieve them. And just this morning, they found one. In all, I think in terms of gender, let me refer to my state of confusion so I don't make problems. So the 7 that were drowned, we have 2 boys and 5 girls. But out of the 16, actually, they were just, I think the boys were, so for the 7 that got drowned, there were 5 girls and then 2 boys. All the boys have been found. It's the girls that, that means that the remaining 2 are likely to be the girls, or were for now the remaining 1. We have not been there, we have been informed that he was detected at Damongo. It's a community about 2.5 kilometers from where the accident occurred. So from here, if we are able to ascertain the personality of that individual, then we'll now project quite with sanctity the one that is not found.
It's unfortunate that we've lost vibrant, young, and upcoming persons. And from your report, we've lost 5 young girls and 2 young men. It is our prayer that the families will accept it, the school will accept it, and then all of us will accept the situation, whilst government looks further in terms of what we will do on the water, which is something that we know often than not people like take adventure or intend to cross to the other side. So on this note, I thank you all, and it's my hope that we go to the site, we have a general look at it, and then we can inform authorities appropriately for steps to be taken to.
Rafiq Salam joins us via Zoom. He's our Upper West Regional correspondent. Rafiq, what more can you add from the fallouts from that briefing we just saw?
I can report to you now. Suja, are you hearing me?
Loud and clear, Rafiq.
Okay. I can report to you now that all the bodies have now been retrieved from the river. A couple of, I think about less than an hour ago, we had an information that the last body, which appears to be a male, was a female was retrieved from the body. In all, we are dealing with 10 persons, and we earlier told you that 3 of them managed to swim their way out, leaving 7. And so the 7, 5 of them were retrieved from the river by local divers, and then this morning they had 2 personalities that were also 2 of the students that were retrieved. So in all, we're having 5 females and then 2 males who went for jogging. And so the regional minister this morning, he had a meeting with members of the MUSEC, and then from there, he called on the overlord of the Lora traditional area, where he met them, and then after that, he went straight to the riverside to ascertain for himself what actually transpired.
Rafiq, talk to us about the response or reaction from the families, the community themselves as a whole.
I'm not hearing you say what?
Talk to us about the reaction or response from the community and the families of these deceased students as we speak.
The families are in somber mood. They are grieving over the loss. But one thing that they are determined, they are saying that they want the bodies to be removed, to be given to them from the corpse so that they will go and do quick burial. But the minister intervened, spoke to them, he told them to be calm so that they will do all the necessary investigations before the bodies are released to them. The old minister also went to the Laura Senior High School, where he went to condole, commiserate with the students and told them to be calm so that now that these things have happened, they should be calm, and then they will ensure that they are very safe.
Do we know if official investigations have been launched to actually ascertain the details of this tragic incident?
Hello?
Do we know if official investigations have been commissioned or started to ascertain the details of what led to this tragic incident?
Yes, the minister said that at least he has been briefed by the MUSEC and Laura and also the RECSEC, and so very soon they will start with investigations on the issue. But one thing that we also spoke from one of the parents of the victim, he told us that he is yet to come to terms with what transpired, because this is a student that I knew that was in school. But within the blink of an eye, he was told that his girl was dead, and so he wants investigations to be carried on to unravel the mystery surrounding what transpired at the riverside.
Rafiq Salam, thank you for joining us and bringing us details on this tragic story. Well, moving on, President Mahama has asked the Ministers of Energy and Finance to prepare measures to protect the recent gains made in reducing petroleum product prices, as escalating hostilities between Israel and Iran have started driving up crude oil prices. Speaking during his thank you tour in the Savannah region, he said that despite progress in stabilizing the economy, Ghana is not immune to the shocks of global events.
Despite the work we have done in stabilizing the economy, Ghana is not immune from the shocks of global events. Recent events in the Middle East, which involve an exchange of missiles between Israel and Iran, have started to escalate crude oil prices dramatically. I've asked our Minister of Finance and Minister of Energy to keep a close eye on the development and model the possible impacts on our petroleum prices and prepare measures to protect the recent gains that we have made.
The president also assured residents of the Savannah region that the Damongo water supply system will soon come on stream, stating that all the designs are ready and that funding from the European Union has just been secured. He said it will serve the 8,000 residents of Damongo as well as surrounding communities. Here's more.
Your Royal Majesty, access to clean water is not a luxury, It is a basic right. The Damongo water supply system, which has been delayed for far too long, will come on stream. We have all the designs ready and have been offered funding by the European Union to execute the project. This project will draw water from the White Volta at Yape and supply it to the west, to Damongo. And I'm happy to announce that it will serve the 8,000 residents of Damongo, and all communities along the water pipeline will also receive clean drinking water.
Moving on, a severe rainstorm has hit Nandom, destroying properties worth thousands of Ghana cedis and rendered 135 households homeless. The storm, which came with speed and force, ripped off roofs of dozens of homes, schools and shops. The National Disaster Management Organization says they're doing assessments of the situation to enable them seek support for the victims since their stores are empty. Rafiq Salam again.
The rainstorm, according to the victims, started around 4 p.m. on Friday. It ripped off roofs, pulled down buildings, and uprooted economic trees, rendering the victims helpless and homeless. According to initial assessment of the extent of destruction by the storm from the National Disaster Management Organization, Nandom, 135 households have so far been affected in the municipality. About a dozen communities in the Nandom municipality were affected by the disaster, but the worst communities being Ko, Tuopare, Tukung, and Gu. Assembly member for Tuopare electoral area, Augustine Deri, painting a mental picture of the disaster in his community, says foodstuffs and other valuables of the victims were drenched by the rain, and the school in the community had its roof ripped off.
Newly constructed buildings have been ripped down to floor level. Currently, the school that I'm standing by was also affected by the storm. In totality, over 100 houses in my electoral area have been affected. People who have got foodstuff stuff in their rooms were all soaked with water as at yesterday. Some have got difficulties in drying them since morning. Several calls have been made to see how benevolent individuals and NGOs could come to their aid. In fact, it is so devastating.
Assembly member for Gu electoral area, Temfa Bombie Kennedy, on his part, disclosed that the incident affected power supply to parts of the community.
Within the community, we have about 8 broken poles, 5 high-tension poles down. Then they stepped down about 3 of them. So because due to that, light has been off in some section of the community. And as today, other people uses the light for their daily activities, especially economic activities. Those who have cold fish around, cold stores around, in fact, they are struggling. So we also call on VRA to speed up their work and then help the community. Thank you too.
Juliana Galiko is a mother of 3. She had her entire roof ripped off by the storm, displacing her with the children. Her foodstuffs and the children learning materials got drenched by the rainwater.
As I say, I'm afraid to do. O baga chance ali tuloni. Ache mani bibiza sa benedi po. It is a benedi o ba a chance lobera damku.
Speed and force. Rip off my entire roof, leaving us in the open. My children ran away from the house, leaving me lonely in the rain. All my valuables, including my foodstuff, children educational materials, all got drenched. We kept them outside to dry.
The rainstorm victims asserted that they are at their wit ends and calling for support from the government, non-governmental organizations, and individuals to come to their aid.
The community is a farming community, and many of these affected individuals are all peasant farmers. Some have actually complained as to how they are going to start from the scratch to where their properties were lost. In fact, me as an assemblyman and staying in the community have actually shared their plight, and I am actually inviting anybody who have got the people at heart to come to their aid.
Any support anywhere, be it government or individual, we will appreciate it.
The Nandom enclave in recent times have experienced some rainstorms, but none has gotten to this magnitude. The victims are traumatized and looking to Nandom for support, which is not readily available. Fidelis Naikur, a senior officer with the Nandom.
For now, we don't have any support for them. What we do is to get the data and submit it to the regional office, where they will then forward it to the national level for any support if possible. But for now, we do not have support for them.
Nandom for now is still assessing the extent of damage inflicted on the sea of people in the Nandom municipality to seek for support at the national level. Despite the magnitude of the disaster, no death was recorded. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam, Tuopare.
On the international front, the Trump administration is considering implementing travel restrictions for 36 more countries, including Ghana. According to an internal memo seen by the U.S. media organization, The Washington Post, the memo signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, sent to U.S. diplomats on Saturday, says the government of the listed nations have 60 days to meet the new requirements established by the State Department. Now, the State Department alleged that some of the countries mentioned have not met various benchmarks, such as no competent or cooperative central government authority to provide reliable identity documents, or a large number of citizens who've violated the terms of their visas. However, the memo included a caveat. If a country is willing to accept third country nationals who are being removed from the U.S., it would ease their concerns. Let's get some perspective on this. And Dr. Ishmael Holovo is an international relations expert, and he joins us via Zoom, on phone rather, for more details. So, now that we know that Ghana is on the list, Doc, which way do you think we are leaning? Can we take advantage of this caveat?
Good afternoon and good afternoon to your viewers. I think that we should have a sober reflection over it. It's not a simple issue of either you want to take advantage of the caveat. And what circumstances are you going to accept third-party nationals who are being deported from the U.S.? Whereas what we should do is to improve our cooperation in terms of providing identification for people who are supposed to be Ghanaian, who are overstayed their visas, in terms of them being deported. I think that would be the best option we have. But to be hosting third-party nationals who have committed various offenses in the U.S. may not be the ideal situation for a country like Ghana. So I think that if it is a matter of how we cooperate with them in terms of our citizens who are obtaining their visas, then we can cooperate if they are repatriated one part to Ghana. So I think it's important that it and then prove our cooperation in terms of provide identity and other documentation.
Right. And Doc, kindly reposition for me. I lost a huge chunk of your last submission.
So my argument is that you are better off improving your ability to cooperate with them in terms of verifying documentation, in terms of providing identity document for those they want to deport. That level we should aim at improving. And of course, the issue also speaks to various documentation that we provide in Ghana in terms of who is applying for visa to other countries, in terms of passport acquisition and so. So when we title when we tighten those aspects and assure them that, yes, now the documentation process in Ghana is quite tight, and that we will not have people who enter the U.S. and overstay for whatever reason. I think that we may be considered and be listed from whatever sanctions they want to impose.
Right. I mean, in terms of sober reflections, I know that some countries have already accepted this, like El Salvador. But talk to us about the impact of this. How exactly will it impact Ghana's foreign relations with the U.S.?
So it makes it more difficult for Ghanaians who want to go to the U.S. If assuming the restrictions have come into it will make it very difficult for ordinary Ghanaians who are aiming to relocate or travel to the U.S. for whatever reason or another. But also because we have many levels of engagement with the U.S. This travel restriction may also signal worsening of Ghana-U.S. relations. And I think that since the Mahama administration took office, we have not had a very high level of engagement with the U.S. Most of the engagement we have been having is at the diplomatic embassy level. I'm here to see either the foreign minister or the president have a very high level of engagement with the Trump administration. So these are things that should be ironed out at the very highest level of diplomacy, where we can leverage on things that we have in common with the U.S. to try to negotiate our way through.
Since you yourself are saying you're yet to see any concrete response, if I can paraphrase here, how do you think, in your opinion, how would you advise the foreign ministry in Ghana to respond to this, especially because we have only the 60-day window?
So as I indicated, they have listed a number of issues that is of concern to them. So you have to demonstrate how you are addressing those issues that they are raised in terms of cooperating with them to receive those citizens who have overstayed their visa. You must also demonstrate how you are actually tightening some of the aspects of your documentation for your citizens to ensure that, for instance, they don't go and overstay their visas there. So you have to demonstrate, because they have listed some of the issues that are of interest. So you have to demonstrate to them, engage them and demonstrate that these are the steps that you are taking to ensure that those things are being addressed. So it's very important we do that. Perhaps we also need to have at least a very high level engagement with the Trump administration to have a clearer view of what Ghana-U.S. relations should be and what we expect from that administration. I've not seen that yet. Maybe it has happened at the back door, but openly we have not had that high level of engagement that we should have with the U.S. since this administration took office.
You've just listed the things that we should do, I mean, to meet their requirements as well. But if we don't, what diplomatic leverages can we exploit in terms of economically or so on and so forth to get out of this situation without compromising our national interests?
So, as I said, since they have indicated what they want, we don't have the economic muscle to try to influence the U.S. economically. So your best bet is to, if you want to leverage economically, then you have oil. That's the only leverage you have if you are going to say that, okay, if you consider lifting some of these sanctions, then U.S. companies will have some leverage in the oil and gas sector. That may be a deal that you want to make, giving Trump and that right deal, sometimes posing some of restrictions just bring the negotiation to West. So yes, economic that.
Unfortunately, our connection is not clear again. Let me throw this last question to you. Perhaps if you're clearer, we can get a response from you. So if we are unable to meet these requirements at the end of the 60-day window, what are these restrictions likely to be? Are we looking at full freeze, visa bans? What are the likely forms that this restriction will take?
Yes, so you are looking at visa bans for certain category of people. Given what they have done, I'm not sure they will implement a full visa ban on Ghana, but maybe they will demand more for you to enter the U.S. So it will be a situation where very few Ghanaians will be able to enter the U.S. if it comes to effect.
All right, Dr. Ishmael Kobla-Hlovo is an international relations expert, and he put some perspective to this. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Moving on, Ghana Water Limited has busted an illegal water connection syndicate that has been trading water in commercial quantities from 2 of its underground hydrants at Adenta in Accra. This crackdown follows a tip-off on the suspicious activities of the operators. Addressing the media in Accra, Communications Manager for Ghana Water Limited, Nana Yaobani, said their checks revealed a sharp discrepancy in the monthly bills paid by the consumer compared to the volumes of water consumed by the household. Valentina Semenyo was on grounds and filed this report.
When officials of the Ghana Water Company visited the premises, it uncovered a large-scale illegal connection to 2 of its hydrants and a hidden underground tank that stores water for resale. Explaining the act to the media, an engineer with the Ghana Water Limited, Engineer Dr. Hadisu Al-Hassan, indicated the reported water consumption and billing figures was contradictory. He added that the incident exposes a major weaknesses in the company's monitoring and enforcement mechanism.
The interesting thing is that looking at the volumes of water they get here and the quantities they sell, the revenue they even pay is an insult to the company, because the kind of consumption they indicate they consume does not in any way match the level of operation they do here. If such an enterprise, as you've seen with the tanks here, paying bills around 400 cedis, 500 cedis, then it tells you something. Clearly, with what's happening now, activities of this nature can deny an entire community from having access to safe drinking water. So we see this as an assault on our efforts to get a much needed revenue to be able to expand our infrastructure and maintain our assets. I think the message is simple. To our own staff who get involved in these illegalities, your job is on the line and you would face possible prosecution when found culpable. To the general public who are involved in this, if we get you, we are going to fine you appropriately and let also the law take its course.
Communications Manager for the Water Company Limited, Nana Yaobani, urged the public to report suspicious water activities to prevent further abuse of the system.
In fact, what really baffles us as a company is the fact that our meter readers come here to read meter on a monthly basis. And they have seen these 2 hydrants. They cannot tell us that they have not seen these 2 hydrants. It is 72 cubic meters. For the whole month, 72 cubic meters. And if you calculate, in terms of bill, he's paying just about a little over 800 Ghana cedis. Such a thing cannot be done and the customer will pay something less than 1,000 Ghana cedis. That cannot happen. So members of the public, we are pleading with you to help us with information so that some of these things can be halted.
Valentina Semenyo's report read to you.
You're watching Joy Newsroom with me, Sweetie Abochi. Some breaks and we'll return with more news.
Storm.
Live from our studio in Kokomemle, this is still Joy Newsroom, and let's move on with other stories. KNUST MasterCard scholars hand over a cluster of projects to Ayigya Basic School. And let me get you more details on the story, because the cluster of schools in Ayigya in the Ashanti region struggled with shared toilet facilities, water scarcity and encroachment due to lack of a wall, compromising teaching, learning and safety. So the KNUST MasterCard scholars have intervened and transformed the cluster through a series of impactful projects, including the construction of a perimeter wall, sinking a mechanized borehole, renovating classrooms, building a sanitary facility and establishing an ICT lab. These interventions will improve teaching and learning, ensure clean water, enhance sanitation and bridge the digital divide for the Ayigya community. Here's more.
The Ayigya schools, Ayigya MA Primary School and Ayigya MAJHS, have not seen any major renovation since its establishment in 1954. The schools share the same toilet facility and water source with the Ayigya community, straining convenience of both school staff and pupils. The school lacked a wall, facing disturbances from outside communities. Teaching and learning of ICT were limited due to the lack of IT resources. Mastercard scholars at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, in fulfillment of their community duties, have alleviated the school of these struggles. Head teacher of Ayigya Junior High School, Eric Amankwa, highlighted the usefulness of the intervention, saying they will ensure learners' success.
The walling of the school premise will provide a safety and secure environment for our learners to learn and grow. The renovation of the existing classrooms will also revitalize our learner space and make it more conducive for academic excellence.
The scholars spent over 2 million Ghana cedis to wall the school premises, renovate dilapidated classrooms, sink a mechanized borehole, constructed a sanitary facility, and fully equipped modern ICT lab. President of the Scholars Council, Jeremiah Ampa, says the interventions are a contribution to break barriers and give education and equal rights to the underprivileged. Oforiko Municipal Chief Executive Anwel Sadat Ahmed lauded their collaborative efforts and assured that the Assembly is open to collaborate to alleviate situations in the municipality.
These interventions not only enhance the safety, health and learning environment for our children, but also support the Assembly's responsibility to provide such an essential facility to strengthen an educational sector in the municipality. Such timely and welcome support from partners like the Mastercard Foundation is crucial in our collective efforts to uplift education in our communities.
Meanwhile, the lead of the Mastercard Foundation programs at K University, Professor Kofi Ohene Owusu Daku, says the intervention is a fulfillment of the scholars' duties as transformational leaders.
These projects they are called community impact projects. One of the ethos of the whole foundation is that the students or our scholars go back and give back to their communities. They've done a number of projects, but this is by far the biggest project. They paid for it, the scholars paid for it fully. The role is that we will be able to train ethical and transformative leaders who form the vanguard of the new wave that is going through Africa.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yaboa.
Health Minister Kwabena Mintah Kando has raised concerns over the excessive spending of ministry funds on meetings and workshops by various committees. Speaking at the inauguration of the Pandemic Fund National Steering Committee, he urged members to prioritize tangible results and evidence of impact over frequent workshops. Yes, more.
I've been here a few months, and what I've realized is that we have funds, and the funds, a greater proportion of the funds are used for workshops, meetings. I hope this will not be business as usual. I will vehemently oppose to that. We are talking about system strengthening. We are talking about laboratory. We organize all the workshops in the world without having good laboratory, without having equipment in the laboratories. What have we done? So when there is pandemic, what do you do? I am not saying that workshops are not important. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that meetings are not necessary. Please don't get me wrong. But it's absolutely absurd to use more than 20% of the fund for meetings and workshops. We will have to have a consensus, the percentage that will go to workshops and meetings, so that we can use the money for the intended purpose to benefit the ordinary Ghanaian.
Now, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and the Hubei University of Automotive Technology in China are charting new means to revolutionize Africa's automotive industry. And at the China-Africa Automotive Development Forum, scholars and experts in the automotive sector will embrace electric and smart technologies that support inclusive and sustainable growth. The aim is to consciously effect a paradigm shift, a transition from traditional combustion technologies to smart, eco-friendly transportation. We'll tell you more in this report.
According to the International Energy Agency, Ghana leads Africa with around 17,000 electric cars on the road. This sets an example for Africa to revolutionize transportation through sustainable and innovative technologies that prioritize green energy. The 2025 China-Africa Automotive Development Forum in Kumasi assembled scholars, innovators, policymakers, and entrepreneurs from Africa and China to share knowledge and showcase technologies for sustainable adoption. This year's forum is themed Intelligent Manufacturing of Lightweight Electric Vehicles. The Confucius Institute at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology serves as a key platform for the collaboration with Hubei University of Automotive Technology. The Pro-Vice Chancellor of KNUST, Professor David Asamoah, highlighted the institutional efforts adopted to heighten improvement in the automotive sector.
Together we are initiating steps towards the establishment of the International Joint Research Center for Advanced Automotive Energy Storage Materials and Systems, a landmark initiative that will shape the future of mobility on our continent.
President of Hubei University of Automotive Technology, Professor Wan, indicated that the conference on lightweight electric vehicle intelligent manufacturing would deepen the collaboration.
自共建孔子学院以来，我们不仅搭起了语言文化交流的桥梁，更在汽车科技领域开创了专业加文化的特色合作模式。
Since the joint establishment of the Confucius Institute, we have not only built a bridge for language and cultural exchange, but also pioneered a distinctive cooperation model of nature and culture in the field of automotive technology.
Director for Renewable Energy and Energy Transition, Engineer Seth Mahu, representing the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, says cooperated research and exchange will support mass adoption of electric mobility in Ghana and beyond.
Distinguished guests, Ghana is now ready for the next step, from assembling combustion vehicles to designing and producing electric vehicles, tailored for African roads, powered by African minds, and built with African hands.
President of the Ghana Association of Chinese Societies, Tang Hong, indicated that the automotive sector is a vital engine for economic growth. Ashanti Regional Minister Dr. Frank Amwakohene called for investment into infrastructure to make the shift and adoption seamless.
We recognize that the electric mobility to thrive, we must invest not just in vehicles, but also in skill, in policy framework, and in enabling infrastructure. That is why the regional leadership is actively engaging stakeholders to ensure that the local entrepreneurship and the technicians and graduates are ready to seize the emerging opportunity in the EV value chain.
For Joy News, my name is Clinton Yeboah.
Still in this bulletin, St. Michael's Hospital in need of clinical equipment. And so St. Michael Hospital is in the Ashanti region and they're seeking more clinical monitors to enhance care for critically ill patients and emergency cases. Presently, the hospital relies on 8 clinical monitors as the emergency and recovery wards that are assigned to patients based on the severity of the cases. Medical doctor, Dr. Samoyao Edu, has indicated that aside from monitors, the facilities need for other essential equipment as well to improve service delivery. Nanaya Ojima tells you the story.
The St. Michael's Hospital was upgraded to a hospital status in 1960 to cater for healthcare needs of people in Bosomtwe district and its environs. Over the years, the hospital has upgraded its facilities to offer some specialty care. Nonetheless, the 144-bed capacity hospital continues to grapple with equipment challenges which have negatively affected healthcare delivery. At the facility's emergency ward, medical monitors that display and tracks patients' vital signs and other parameters are inadequate, with the recovery ward encountering similar challenges. Dr. Samuel Yao-Edu indicated the hospital is in short supply of medical equipment for patient care.
The equipment, suction machines, patient monitors, delivery bed, in fact, is one of the things on our list as we speak. We're trying to procure them. The monitors, almost everybody, those on the ward, especially critical cases, emergency, recovery ward, neonatal ward, we all need monitors to help us manage them very well. We have some, but inadequate. As we speak, if you go to the emergency, I think we have 2. If you go to the recovery ward, we have about 6. We have, but not adequate.
The Catholic facility was established to provide social service to the people. Hence, some of the vulnerable people who are treated at the facility are unable to foot their bills. In some instances, the hospital relies on its Poor and Sick Fund to support such cases. Dr. Edu indicates the situation has negatively affected retooling efforts.
They come here without anything. Sometimes they can incur a debt. They don't even have insurance. They can incur debt to the tune of about 10,000, 14,000, 5,000, and they cannot even pay 1 cedi. And you can't keep them here.
Meanwhile, the Rotary Club of Kumasi has stepped in to provide some of the needed equipment for patient care. The group donated a delivery bed, patient monitors, and a suction machine to aid medical care. Nana Efia Osei Asamoah is president.
They had challenges with their maternal and child unit, so we came to support them with some medical equipment for their unit. We donated 1 delivery bed, patient monitors to support so we were in to assist them so that it will ease the pressure and the challenges that's being faced by the hospital.
For Joy News, Nana Yaljuma, Ashanti Region.
So after a week of intense intellectual battles, compelling arguments and spirited showdowns, the Love FM High School's debate is moving into the much-anticipated round of 16. The journey so far has been nothing short of electric, with schools across the Ashanti region showcasing their brilliance and boldness in debating issues of national interest. Irabna Akwe reports.
10 schools have successfully booked their spots after out-debating their peers in a series of contests that saw passion, precision, and power on full display.
The establishment of Operation Vanguard in 2017 and Operation Heart in 2021 is a testament to how prepared governments have been towards the fight against illegal mining.
In this 21st century, we have workers in this country who have families and dependents, yet are paid as low as 250 Ghana cedis. Impartially, we send out evidence.
It has proven to be a sound economic trajectory under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Chronologically, the adoption of the free market in Ghana was not a gamble, but it was made through global's best interests in Ghana's existence.
Among the qualified schools are Upon Memorial SHS, St. Louis Girls, KNUST SHS, Osei Educhum SHS, Prempeh College, Prince of Peace Girls, T.I. Amas, Anglican SHS, St. Monica's and Barakesi SHS. Joining them are 4-seeded powerhouses from last year's semi-final stage, defending champions, Kumasi High School, Church of Christ SHS, Our Lady of Grace Senior High, and St. Hubert Seminary. These schools automatically progressed to the round of 16 due to their exceptional performances in the previous edition. In an exciting twist, 2 wildcards entrants, Kumasi Girls SHS and Osei Tritre SHS earned their slots in the next stage despite losing earlier contests.
We will protest until we are declared winners.
Their high-scoring performances were enough to push them through, underscoring just how competitive this year's event has become.
Forestry Commission officials have all been known to accept bribes from illegal miners in exchange for turning a blind eye to the menace.
So far, the debates have tackled bold motions like tax equity, gender-based policies, free market dynamics, religious pros and cons, social media, and controversial education reforms such as the reintroduction of corporal punishment and the role of online learning. The road ahead is tough. The round of 16 is not just about debating skills. It is about strategy, teamwork, quick thinking and emotional poise. From former champions like Prem College to underdog surprises like Osei Educhum SHS.
Why are my opponents trying to give women all the privileges? What about men? There are some men who may be in worse or similar conditions.
Each team has a shot at glory, but only if they can outthink and outperform the rest. Reporting for Joy News, Erabna Akwe Kumasi.
Well, let's wrap the bulletin with a business story. And the Ghana Cedi has been ranked the world's best performing currency this month, after appreciating by nearly 16% against the US dollar since the start of April 2025. According to the Ghana Customs Division, the strengthening of the Cedi has resulted in increased import activity at the country's ports, driven by a reduction in port duties. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines of the 2025 edition of the Meet the Government series, organized by the Ghanaian German Economic Association in Accra, Senior Revenue Officer at Customs, Humphrey Ndomi, expressed optimism about the development.
The Meet the Government series 2025 was held under the theme Fostering Economic Growth Through Strategic Engagement. The forum brought together key public institutions and private sector actors to explore collaborative strategies for driving economic development. Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, Senior Revenue Officer at the Customs Division of GRA, Humphrey Ndomi, noted that businesses are leveraging the recent appreciation of the Ghana Cedi to increase imports, a trend that is boosting activity at the nation's ports.
There have been improved activities as people are paying their duties because they now can afford it because of the appreciation of the Cedi. Also, people are also importing more, just as they know that the Cedi is appreciating, so then things are cheaper for them to buy. So then activities are getting better. Initially, we were worried about the fact that once the Cedi appreciates, then the same targets would not be met, but then it has been met with the improved or increased transactions and businesses. So there are more goods coming in now rather than the same old number. So that's showing up with the revenue. Yeah. Welcome.
Acting General Secretary of the Ghanaian German Economic Association, Hilary Saki, also stressed the importance of sustained public-private collaborations in achieving long-term economic goals.
As private sector, we want to engage with government and government institutions, and so we brought together the GRA, the free zones, the GIPC, and other private sector players to come and interact and look at how we can collaborate or foster collaboration between these organizations as we interface in our businesses, so that we can also contribute to the growth of Ghana and the economy at large. So basically the essence of this particular program is for private sector to interact with government. And when we say government, we are talking about the engine that is running policies, that are implementing policies, so that once private sector is interacting with them, they can understand the issues of private sector in formulating policies and in their implementation stages.
The forum featured presentations from key institutions including the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Ghana Revenue Authority, and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. It was organized by the Ghanaian German Economic Association in partnership with the International Trade Center.
That does it for Joy Newsroom, and a happy Father's Day to all fathers across. I'm Sweetie Abochi. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news stories, and Samson Ladianyenene comes top of the hour to serve you the law. Please stay.